Hi, it's Dwyer, gamblersadvisory.com, here with some thoughts on the face-off between Victor Ortiz and Floyd Mayweather. I thought it was the best face-off moderated by Max Kellerman, which debuted tonight. Before I go further, just remember, the opinion you should follow should be your own. Just consider this video to be a second opinion from a complete stranger online. I thought Floyd in this face-off video was being very real and very upfront early in the interview when he praised Victor Ortiz as one of the best in boxing pound for pound. You know, Ortiz, in my opinion, talent-wise, is just that. I'm stunned. I'm a big Floyd Mayweather fan, but I'm also a big Victor Ortiz fan. Ortiz is very underrated, and I'm truly stunned. I mean, seriously, stunned that Floyd Mayweather picked Victor Ortiz as his comeback fight. If you're going to face a guy this tough, Floyd might as well have hopped in the ring with Manny Pacquiao. Victor Ortiz is not a tune-up fight. Style-wise, in my opinion, Ortiz could give Mayweather all kinds of problems, right? While I believe Mayweather wins the fight, I think it's a much closer fight than the odds being posted in casinos. You can get Victor Ortiz in some sports books and casinos at greater than 6-1 odds. That's ridiculous. Style-wise, I think Ortiz is as tough a matchup for Floyd Mayweather as there is in boxing. I think there are things that Victor Ortiz does that, quite frankly, Manny Pacquiao does not do. I think one of the key moments of the face-off episode is when Kellerman asks Ortiz about Andre Berto, and Ortiz honestly answers him that in his mind it was about him, Manny Pacquiao, and Floyd Mayweather. He wasn't too worried about Andre Berto. Right now, Floyd Mayweather, and this to me was the shocker of the show. I'm watching the show. I'm expecting softballs. I'm expecting the guys to criticize each other. I was expecting personal attacks. I wasn't expecting actual talk on strategy. But yet Floyd Mayweather, astonishingly, at one point in the face-off, looks at Victor Ortiz and tells him, "You don't have to worry about me moving away, running around the ring." He goes further and says, "I told Shane Mosley I'm going to stand and fight you," basically, words to that effect, "and that's what I'm going to do against you." Right? If Floyd Mayweather does that, thinking that he's fighting a huge puncher who's standing right in front of him and doesn't quite have the boxing skills that he has, and who got floored twice by right hands by Berto, right? And of course, Ortiz, a southpaw, lines up well with Floyd Mayweather's right hand. Mayweather, in my opinion, is kidding himself. If I'm in Victor Ortiz's corner, I'm telling Ortiz, and Ortiz, by the way, refuses to disclose the strategy. I'm telling Ortiz, forget about the Berto fight. You're not going to fight this guy that way. Forget about that fight. You actually have the foot speed advantage in this matchup, right? Victor Ortiz, and I know it's counterintuitive, but Victor Ortiz needs to, in my opinion, outbox Floyd Mayweather using foot speed. Take a look at the first round of Victor Ortiz's fight against Nate Campbell. You're going to see that Ortiz is moving all around the ring. You actually get a hint. In fact, you see it. You see Ortiz's foot speed. You see Ortiz's balance, right? My point to you is simply that Victor Ortiz cannot stand in front of Floyd Mayweather and expect to outbox him. He tried that with Lamont Peterson, and Peterson, who he knocked down twice in the fight, outboxed him to such an extent that Peterson got the draw in a 10-round fight in which you would have to figure Ortiz had a 10-7 round, right? And so up close, Victor Ortiz is probably neutralized by Floyd. Floyd's fight style is a defensive fight style that best works when the opponent comes at him, like Manny Pacquiao would, like Ricky Hatton did. But Floyd now's in his 30s. His feet have slowed a bit. I don't believe he has the foot speed that he had when he fought Diego Corrales. And I think what Victor Ortiz needs to do is I think Ortiz, if Floyd's serious, if Floyd's going to fight Ortiz like he fought Shane Mosley, I think what Ortiz needs to do is he needs to dance around the ring. Then he needs to strategically come in with bombs. Kind of like, not quite an ambush style, but he needs to be a mover in this fight. If he does that, he hits much harder than Mayweather. I think the way to get a fighter like Mayweather out of his shell is by moving around the ring. In fact, a good example of what I'm talking about, a guy with a tight defensive shell and a jab, right? Sergei Zinzurek against Sergio Martinez. You remember Martinez moved around the ring, forced Zinzurek to move, didn't allow Zinzurek to just stand there with his defensive guard, forced Zinzurek to actually move around the ring. Then Martinez came in with bombs, came in with counters, then, of course, was able to get knockdowns, right? That's the kind of fight that Victor Ortiz has the capability of fighting, right? Ortiz, and I think it's great in the Faceoff when they asked Ortiz about age, and Ortiz says age doesn't matter. Ortiz can't treat Floyd Mayweather as an old guy who he's just going to come in and blow out, right? Because that's what Floyd wants. Floyd wants you to be right in his face so he can counter you, right? So you're running into shoulders, elbows, angles, and then he's countering you, and he's hitting you with the straight right hand that Lamont Peterson hit you with and Andre Berto hit you with, right? No, what Ortiz needs to do is he needs to surprise everyone, and he needs to outbox Floyd Mayweather early on. Go for the knockout, but do it from a boxing position. He needs to look at old Sugar Ray Robinson tapes. Ray Robinson didn't just come in and just come forward and blow you out. Ray Robinson actually was a boxer puncher, right? That's the phrase. That's Ortiz at his best, right? Ortiz has a foot speed advantage. He cannot give it up in this fight. Let me also point out, too, Floyd, orthodox fighter. Victor Ortiz, southpaw. Kellerman in Faceoff always reminds us that Floyd's had problems with southpaws in the past. Well, the way to leverage that to your advantage if you're a southpaw is to not be predictable. It's to keep moving, right? Ortiz against Campbell moves early, then he moves in the later rounds. That's the blueprint for him, right? Against Andre Berto, he hurt Berto early. Berto's legs were gone early. He then came in and tried to outmuscle Berto. Understand, that's when Ortiz gets in trouble. Berto dropped him twice. Same thing happened when he fought Marcos Maidana, right? He had the upper hand. Then he comes in and he tries to finish the job. That's when he has a problem. What he needs to do against Floyd is he needs to be outside. He needs to box, right? I know it's counterintuitive, but understand, Floyd Mayweather doesn't like to throw combinations. He throws single punches, right? He's a little bit older. Think about his last few fights. He hasn't been forced to box for a long time. I mean, to move around the ring, right? He fought Shane Mosley. Where was Shane Mosley? he was right in front of him. He fought Ricky Hatton. Where was Ricky Hatton? Always coming in. He fought Juan Manuel Marquez. I'll say, look at the tape. Marquez, who's not gifted with Victor Ortiz's foot speed and center of gravity. Marquez was always in close proximity for Floyd Mayweather to hit. Oscar De La Hoya, the bigger man, thought he could manhandle Floyd Mayweather. He was always there for Floyd Mayweather to hit. Right? Let me just say, too, Manny Pacquiao, understand, Manny Pacquiao doesn't fight backwards like Victor Ortiz does. He doesn't have the type of power that Victor Ortiz has. Right? I know I'm going to get a bunch of emails on this. I understand Shane Mosley said Manny Pacquiao was the hardest puncher he has fought. Right? My point to you, though, is just look at Vivian Harris on the canvas against Victor Ortiz. You're going to find out that Victor Ortiz, just go back and look at Victor Ortiz highlights, you're going to find out that Victor Ortiz, pound for pound, is one of the hardest punchers in the sport. On Faceoff, Max Kellerman's talking to Victor Ortiz. Ortiz modestly says he has all right punching power and he has all right hand speed. He has much better than all right, right? You're talking about a guy who's one of the premier pound-for-pound punchers, and he has above average hand speed. Also, as you watch Victor Ortiz fights, count the times that Victor Ortiz throws wild, hard punches. He doesn't. He's very accurate, very accurate. So what he needs to do is he needs to force Floyd Mayweather to come forward and to try to find him. If he dances around the ring like he does early on and late in that Nate Campbell fight, he's going to give Floyd all kind of problems. To sum up, I think Floyd wins the fight, but I think Ortiz does have a chance. I'm going to sound wishy-washy if I'm gambling this, right? If I'm gambling this, I like Ortiz at the odds they're offering, 6-1, straddled against the over, right? The 11.5 over, because even though Ortiz was down against Berto, I don't believe Floyd Mayweather hits as hard as Andre Berto. So while I think Mayweather's going to win the fight, I believe Mayweather wins the fight by decision. With Ortiz actually can win the fight by knockout. So, and I think the knockout, his best chance to get the knockout, if Floyd fights the fight he fought against Shane Mosley, Ortiz's best chance to get the knockout is by dancing around the ring like he did with Nate Campbell, then coming in like he did with Nate Campbell. Campbell is a vet, right? They fought at 140. Campbell had been the champion at 135. Campbell went the distance, but all I can say to you is take a look at parts of that fight. You're going to see Ortiz hit him with some very hard uppercuts and some other hooks, and Campbell at different times was lucky to survive that fight. As it was, Ortiz was credited with a knockdown in that fight. So all I can say is this. Outboxing Floyd Mayweather sounds foolish, but that's where Ortiz is at his best. When he's moving around the ring, when he's using the foot speed and the balance that God gave him. If Victor Ortiz thinks he can just duck his head, come forward, and try to, come in and fight Floyd Mayweather, then he's falling into Floyd's trap. Because if you fight that kind of Ricky Hatton type fight, Floyd's going to take you apart. Right? Floyd today at distance, I think he's at risk. This is not the Floyd Mayweather of 10 years ago. He doesn't have, in my opinion, the same foot speed. I think the odds at the casino are absurd. Floyd Mayweather as a 3-1 favorite, I'd buy that. As a 6-1 favorite, that's ridiculous. Let me know what you think. Leave your comments for me here on YouTube. Thanks for watching.